A 4.0 is considered a perfect GPA. At least that was the case when I was in school, long time ago. But now, it's a whole different world. In fact, in 2014, a senior by the name of Dara Patel from Hillsborough County earned an unprecedented 10.03 GPA. What the hell is that? 10.03. I don't care how weighted it is, unless they started calculating when she was in kindergarten. How do you get a 10.03? How many in here had a great GPA in high school? How many in here didn't have such a great GPA in high school but succeeded anyway? Right? I love it. Who can tell me what Steve Jobs' GPA was in high school? Close. 2.66. What about Jeff Bezos? I don't know either, but he was the valedictorian of his class. Albert Einstein? That didn't exist back then. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 2.48. Mother Teresa? Gandhi? Does it matter? The point is that our academic GPA, while they make us think it's so important, really doesn't have that much weight on it. Because you see, when you get out into the real world, you got to hustle. You got to kick ass. And you got to work your tail off just like everyone else. What you really need to be paying attention to is what I call the Success Life GPA. It all starts with a dream. You see, Einstein and Bezos and Steve Jobs and Mother Teresa and Gandhi, and especially Martin Luther King Jr., started with a dream. I'm a big fan of dreaming. How many in here have that lifelong dream or a bucket full of them like I do? Please, everyone raise your hands. Now, how many of you are setting goals in order to achieve those dreams? I love that. Because the first part of the equation in a Success Life GPA is your goals. Your goals are those waypoints that we set along the way so that we know that we're staying on track until we accomplish our dreams. A little recommendation I want to make about your dreams, and Lorraine talked a little bit about it. I set yearly goals every year. And then what I do is I break it down, and I set monthly, weekly, and daily goals. These are the tasks that I have to complete in order to stay on track. Now, those tasks, when I put something on my calendar, anybody here seen my calendar? Right? You guys know I'm a little vicious with my calendar. What I do is I ask myself a very simple question. Is this going to get me closer to my dream or farther away from my dream? And that's how I write things down. Because the truth is that it's helped me and taught me to say no. How many yes people in here? Right? The problem with yes people is that they say yes to everyone else except themselves. Who agrees with that? It's a great way to get you to focus. And it's another thing about these goals. Who has list of goals in every little journal that you start and every little notebook, right? Because my daughter's back there. Her and I suffer from the same ill. I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you don't have dates written down next to your goals, they are nothing more than wishes. You know how I know? Because that was me. I had all these goals, and I pat myself on the back like, oh, there's my list of goals. I did it. Woo, good job, girl. And the truth is that not having dates next to those goals meant that I was stuck in my dream-crushing and debilitating comfort zone. It meant that I was being more loyal to my limiting beliefs than I was to my dreams. It meant that I was full of shit. Oh, crap, I didn't do my little disclaimer at the beginning, right? I have a little disclaimer that I do about my potty mouth, but too late. Whatever. My son always says that if I had been a superhero, I would have been Captain Inappropriate. Which I don't have a problem with because I'm not on this planet to be appropriate. I'm here to do epic shit with amazing people. Do not let the outfit fool you, folks. It's important to set those goals. Les Brown said, you must set your goals and go after them with all the determination you can muster. Think about that. Are you going after your goals with all the determination you can muster? The second part of the Success Life GPA equation is plan. And this is where a lot of people fall short. They have all these dreams, and they're vision boarding, and they're seemingly doing everything right, but they fail to plan. What happens when you fail to plan? You plan to fail. Thank you, Ben Franklin, for that important reminder. I remember when I did my first cross-country solo when I was getting my pilot's license. I had to sit with my instructor. We took out a giant flight map, and we had to plan the trajectory. We had to plan the course. We had to make concessions for fuel depending on the weather. We created a flight plan. And on that flight plan, I had to look for waypoints. And the waypoints along the way are those markers that you can see, like cell towers and phone towers and highway intersections. You can see them from the plane, but they help you know that you're on the right track. Now, my little Cessna 172 did have a GPS, but if I didn't have those waypoints and I wait an hour to check because my GPS is not working, which happened all the time, I would have been way off course and maybe not had enough fuel to return. Because my flight plan that day was to take off from Tamiami Airport, go to Pahokee, which is near Lake Okeechobee, then land in Belglade, and then back to Tamiami Airport. Total airtime, 2 hours. Now, a cross-country solo sounds a lot more intimidating than it is. Doesn't mean you fly across the country in a little Cessna 172. I don't recommend that. It means that you land at a different airport or two. And that was my trajectory. The only intimidating thing about a solo cross-country flight is that solo means solo. You're in the plane by yourself. So I have a friend, very encouraging friend, who knew it was my day. He called me in the morning and he said, hey, listen, don't worry about it. Because once you're up there, you're either going to crash or you're going to land. But either way, you're going to come back to the ground eventually. I have very encouraging friends. Now, the important thing about that flight plan is that I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew by when I wanted to be there. And those waypoints, those goalposts, helped me to stay on track. Now, the way that I succeed now and the way that I help my clients succeed is that we start with that end goal in mind. And then we reverse engineer the plan. And it works every time. When you get used to breaking things down, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Now, the third part, and the most important part of a Success Life GPA, I mean, if it's weighted, it's going to be heavily reliant on accountability. We heard Natalia talk about accountability. That's the fastest and most successful path to reaching your dreams is to stay accountable. Accountability can do for you what nothing else can do. Not your talents, not your education, and not your experience. You can have all those things in place, and if you don't have the correct accountability parameters in place, nothing is going to happen. Because you have to take action. You can be dreaming up a storm, and you can be doing everything right and have the best plan in place. And if you don't act, what happens? Zero. Exactly what you just said. Nothing. That's what happens. Now, when I first opened my title company, I had this crazy dream that I wanted to make $240,000 a year. Okay, I thought at the time that was a lot of money. So for a one-woman show at the time when I started, which thank God eventually Danny came on board and saved my life. But when I first started, it seemed like a big goal for this one-woman show with 2 offices. I thought, how am I going to get to that goal? So what did I do? I broke it down. I said, okay, $240,000 is $20,000 a month. If I need to make $20,000 a month, I have to do at least 20 closings, because I did free closings for military families, for first responders, and for many teachers. Danny would always say, if you charge for what you do for free, you'd make a lot more money than what you're actually charging for. But that was okay. So I said, how am I going to make $20,000 a month, this one-woman show at the time, at the bottom of the real estate market? And I came up with a plan. I had very loyal mortgage brokers and real estate agents that I'd been working with for years, and I was blessed to be working with them. And I said, you know what? I'm going to dedicate myself to helping them succeed. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret, folks. The fastest, most enjoyable, and most beautiful path to success is paved with helping other people succeed. When you shift the focus in your business from making money to making an impact and helping others succeed, everything is going to change for you, I promise. You are going to love Mondays like you have never loved Mondays before. So what did I do? I said I have to hold myself accountable. I didn't have a problem with 12 to 14-hour days back then. And I have an even less of a problem with them today. People know I have no problem working because I love what I do for a living. And I'll tell you what, I play harder than most people I know because I make time for it. And I hold myself accountable to go hand gliding and to go jumping and to tell Beth, hey, we're going jumping on the 26th, right? And Beth saying, hell yeah, we're going jumping. So what did I do? I said, in order to help them succeed, I have to make myself available. My clients knew that if they called my cell phone on a Sunday from an open house, I was going to pick up to answer any questions that they might have had. I came up with an app that I invested in so that they would have closing fees at their fingertips wherever they were, whether they were using me as a title agent or not. Because I wasn't dedicated to my success, I was dedicated to their success. I knew that I had to do certain things and make myself available, like I said. If they had a title issue with a closing with another title agent, they would call me. Because with 25 years of experience under my belt, I started when I was 10. I had seen everything, and I knew that I could get them to that closing table. Because I was dedicated to their success, not my own. And guess what, folks? In no time, I reached my goal. And once I hit that goal, I never looked back. And I never had a bad month from that time forward. But my focus was always on how are they succeeding? And how am I helping to be a part of that success? As Asling said, a focus on the giving. When you focus on that in your business or in your life, everything is going to change, I promise. So if I were to ask you, what's your GPA? What would have to change? Who would you have to become in order to be living that most exceptional version of your life that you know you deserve? Because you know what? We're all resistant to change. Change sucks ass. And change hurts, and change is uncomfortable. But change is absolutely necessary. You're destined for greatness. I'm going to tell you right now, if anybody's telling you anything, any different, don't believe them. Because everyone here is destined for greatness. Sometimes we just have to allow it by changing into who we must become in order to step into who we know we're destined to be. And I share this story in my book, but I remember reading about a guy whose beautiful day outside, and he goes and he sits on a park bench to have lunch. And he's biting into his sandwich, and he sees a little chrysalis, and it starts moving around. And he steps up to it, and he sees that there's a little slit beginning to form. And there's a struggle going on in there, so he takes the tip of his pen, and he opens the slit all the way. He sits back, waiting for the butterfly to emerge. and give him his gratitude. Within a few minutes, sure enough, the butterfly does make its way out, and as soon as it exits, it falls to the ground and dies. The man is crushed. Because what he didn't understand was that in its struggle to break free is where a butterfly gets its strength to fly. Change sucks ass, and change is uncomfortable, and change hurts. But that struggle for the change is what makes it beautiful and worthwhile. Diana's here. Cynthia Ocelli said, "For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. Its seed cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it looks like total destruction. Change sucks ass, but it is necessary." I want you all to start thinking about what your GPA has to be from this day moving forward. T.D. Jakes said, "Wherever you are, you made an appointment to be there." Wherever you are, you made an appointment to be there. Think about that for a minute. It's powerful, right? So what appointments are you going to be making today so that you arrive at your desired destination when you want to arrive because you've set those dates? Please keep those appointments with yourself. Stop lying to yourselves. I used to do that all the time. Allow the vulnerability that comes with being honest with yourself. And at every opportunity, continue to build that bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Build that bridge between who you are and who you are destined to become, because you are destined for greatness. So I have just one question. What's your GPA? Thank you.